This is your Den at the Door again here in beautiful Sturgeon Bay, the lovely city in south central Door County, located on the bay of the Sturgeon and near the shipping canal, making the rest of the Door actually an island. We have today on February 17th a festive celebration of winter, and it's the annual ice carving contest here in Sturgeon Bay. We're going to be seeing and interviewing many of those ice sculptors, those artists, who are going to be creating great things, great creations out of ice. Now, water, as you know, has three forms that we know of. It has the fluid form, which we drink, we sail in, we wash with, we use as a lubricant. It has the vapor form, which of course could be steam or the vapor coming out of my mouth at this very moment. Or it has the ice form. Now, as far as I know, we can make art out of water from water fountains and water creations of that sort. I don't know of an art form out of steam, but certainly these people have created some great feats, some great creations out of ice, the solid form of water. And we're at our first ice sculpture, and we have with us two of the great ice artists of Door County, and their names are?
Hans Martin.
Hi, Hans, and I see you're really handy with your Hans. Yes. And your name, sir?
Max.
Max Martin.
Correct.
Correct. And Max and Hans are creating a beautiful piece of art. Can you tell us exactly what you're creating? I certainly can ascertain part of it, but go ahead and give us some insight.
We're creating a dragon. Hopefully it'll turn out to be a dragon. Yeah, we've been working on it since 9, and it's...
But who calls it work when it's this cold, really? You're having
yeah.
And so Hans, really, aside from having a name such as Hans, what got you interested in such intricate ice sculpting work that you're doing? How did you start this?
My dad had a friend that asked us if we wanted to do it, so we started maybe 5 years ago, and we've been doing it ever since.
And is it true that the sad part of this whole day is that at some point your sculpture returns back into the fluid form of the water?
Yeah, it takes a while, but at some point we come back and it's just sort of a knob of ice.
Yeah. It kind of continues to metamorphosize.
Yeah.
Much like the ancient dragons would.
Yeah.
Yes. And last year your creation, I forgot what it was.
Last year we had a pileated woodpecker.
Ah, yeah, it was beautiful. You really did a nice job.
It was okay.
Oh, no, it was...
It was okay. Really, the Olympic rings are what really was good last year.
Oh, I remember that.
Right,
was
yes, exactly.
It was your daughter?
It was my daughter,
Yeah,
yeah.
They were both very, very nice. And what are the tools that you're using?
We have a draw knife.
All right.
And then we have chisels.
Chisels.
And other carving tools.
And you're obviously staying warm enough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, we really enjoyed talking with you, and we wish you luck. We know that you've succeeded already by this beautiful creation, and good luck with the judging as well.
Thank you.
Don't forget to pick some chocolates up, and we're reminding you to vote. Vote often. If you're voting for us, vote often and vote early.
Just like Chicago.
Yes.
All right. All right. Thanks, man. Well, good one. And here we are, Dennis Connolly again, and we're interviewing another of the ice artists. And your name, sir?
My name is Don Berg.
Hi, Don. And where are you from, Don?
I'm from Shorewood, Wisconsin.
Shorewood, just up the road from Milwaukee.
That's right.
Lovely spot. Lovely
Right.
spot. So tell me, what drew you into ice sculpting, and can you tell me a bit about the piece you're creating?
I sure can. What drew me into ice carving?
Yes.
Well, I'm an artist.
Yes.
My core theme is I'm an artist.
All right.
Can't get away from it, can't retire from it.
That side of the brain just dominates like crazy, doesn't it?
Everywhere I go, yes. And this subject matter is somewhat unusual for me to carve because it's more in an abstract form. And I'm normally carving realistic things. So this coming to Sturgeon Bay I thought was a good opportunity. Not only that, we get to use power tools in the advanced group.
Yes, power tools. Yes. And I see one of your power tools over there, an electric chainsaw.
Right.
What sort of specific requirements does a chainsaw need to carve or sculpt ice?
Well, oftentimes the blades are smaller than a regular tree cutting chainsaw, even though this is pretty much that stock right off the shelf is. So there are some modifications that we can do that'll give us a more pointed blade. There's a nearly triangular
Triangulation,
shape.
how you cut
it. Yeah, it's almost pointed on the end.
Very good.
Gives us more detail abilities for that. So that chainsaws are great. It's a marvelous tool to get big areas removed. For ice, you remove a lot of ice, and formally, the edges are very formal. Whereas when we're done with that, then I've got another robo tool over here that give me another detail opportunity. I carve logos with that tool, and then we use these chisels that are very sharp, and we can then smooth from the chainsaw blades. You can see all the grooves and the ice resulting from the chainsaw.
Lovely. What other media do you work in, Don?
I am known to be a lot of other things. Snow. I've carved in Russia and Finland in the art of snow carving. I produced the national snow sculpting competition at Lake Geneva, which was completed 2 weeks ago.
I was there. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes.
I am the director of that event.
Well, congratulations. That's wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. Yes. I don't. One of my residences is not too far from there. So.
Wisconsin is a great place for winter sport and art. We call this a Spart. Bump.
Yeah.
But there are more ice carving and snow carving champions from Wisconsin than anywhere in this country.
So besides Wisconsin being so skilled and having developed such a great art form, do you know the history of ice sculpting? I heard a brief history, but I wonder if you have any insight.
Well, the genesis of ice carving or sculpting in any kind of form talks about life entirely. Cave people were drawing on their walls. So it's a natural transition, I guess, or a transformation when somebody found a chunk of ice floating on the lake in the spring. Well, let's see if we can't shape it into something. And the same with snow. Kids have been making snowmen. Right. And you know that there's a child left yet in you as an adult.
I do.
And when the snow's in the yard, hey, there's natural medium out there. Hey, let's do something more than just roll in it.
I heard that ice sculpting actually started somewhere in the Laplands, somewhere around the 2nd century, when the nomadic Laplanders were separated from their families, seeking the reindeer and following the herds, and soon missing their friends, and found only reindeer left and ice, endless ice. And so to keep themselves company, they would create their families again out of the ice, using nothing more than the antlers of the reindeer. Is there any truth to that?
Oh, I heard that same story by the people that were boiling fish in Door County.
Yes, I think, and they did that in the fluid form.
Yes, I think so. In some way they entertain themselves.
Well, it's a beautiful creation you're making, and how it came to you and how you've been inspired.
This, by the way, if you'd like to know about this, there's in abstract shape. There's a thing that we deal with in what kind of feeling you want to end up with. That's what I started with. I created a shape and a form that gave me a good feeling, and it just happened to be similar to a wave. And so there's some natural wave formations in this piece, and then to make it or accentuate that movement, I put something in that was very rigid and straight,
punctual,
and so it's suspended inside that wave.
Yeah, neat.
So it's an interesting challenge because the ice is very fragile.
Yes.
And unforgiving. It will break and shatter and make you change your plans.
So you just cut away what isn't the wave and the feeling, sort of as it was attributed to Michelangelo, correct?
Oh, I think that's the way it is. Yeah.
Okay, great. It's been wonderful talking with you, and continue your good work. Hope to see you in the future, Don.
Well, thanks. Thank you, everybody here in Door County and Sturgeon Bay. They're very friendly. We are having a lot of fun here. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming. We're at our third sculpt of our adventure today, and we're with very talented sculptress. And your name, ma'am?
Andy Haas-Schneider.
Andy Haas-Schneider. Very good to meet you. And where are you from, Andy?
Waterford, Wisconsin.
Lovely Waterford, a beautiful town with a beautiful river and dam.
Fox River.
Yes. And so tell us about your creation in ice.
Well, the theme was fire and ice, and I thought how creative.
Yes.
Ice, and then to have the contrast of a fire-breathing dragon.
Wonderful.
And he will have teeth and maybe breathe fire.
And how long will the fire sustain his form?
He'll probably melt.
Melt him, yeah. What a beautiful town to be able to be sculpting in, isn't it? And what friendly people you have around.
Really grateful to the people who sponsor the blocks, as well as lots of hardy people out today.
Indeed. Well, this is Door County.
Well, and lots of artists.
Yes, wonderful artists. And how long have you been doing this form of sculpting?
About 6 years.
And what drew you to it?
A contest. And getting out of doing laundry on Saturdays.
There's nothing artful about doing the tighty-whities, is there?
No, sir.
No, there is not. And you're working with a chainsaw, you're working with the Dremel, you're working with that chisel you're pointing at me. Oh, that's okay. I have a thick jacket on for now. And where else have you competed in your...
Oconomowoc, Cedarburg, Waukesha, Grays Lake, all over the state. Green Bay.
Excellent.
And I was here last year, and it was 32 below zero.
I think you were down the street a bit, or
I was right there.
Yes. Okay.
Little lovers.
I did some still shots then. So it's wonderful to see you. Do you have any advice to aspiring ice sculptors?
Everybody should try it, and anybody who wants to, I have some little extra blocks that they.
And if we can't do it with that, we can pack the chips together and perhaps.
Well, it starts out as 400 pounds. So when I'm done, it should be about 300. So there's 100 pounds of chips laying around.
Lovely form. We enjoyed it.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thanks so much. God
Take
bless.
care.
And here we are at our fourth ice sculptress. And your name, madam?
Noreen Leppard.
Hi, Noreen. Where are you from, please?
I'm from Brookfield, Wisconsin.
Beautiful Brookfield, another great Wisconsin town. And tell us about your creation.
Well, what this is, I'm in front of Hallmark here. And since it's the springtime almost in Wisconsin, I figured that I would make a very large vase with a large bouquet of flowers, kind of in celebration also of Valentine's Day.
Oh, lovely idea. Very romantic. I can feel the warmth and romance coming off the flowers as we speak with you, and your creative endeavor is certainly going to brighten up, cheer everyone's spirits.
Well, thank you very much. It's been a great time to be here, and Sturgeon Bay is a great place to be. I hope everybody comes down and visits all these wonderful shops too.
Oh, great shops, great sponsors, wonderful creations. Keep working now. So you're putting your various floral pieces together.
Floral pieces in. I have several flowers, and these are the ornations of the different leaves, I guess, is what you could kind of call. So I'm kind of looking to see how they're going to all fit in here currently. and this one needs a little bit of help.
If I were to bring this sculpt home to my wife, how much water should she add to it?
Ever so lightly.
Very lightly. She's been known to have a real brown thumb. As long as we kept it outside for a while, it'd be okay.
Outside and in a little bit of light probably works really well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, lovely how the light is refracting off of your sculpt.
Well, thank you. Those are all of the different kinds of textures you can put into ice here. And while I'm standing here talking to you, I'm going to just make this a little bit skinnier to get it in here and see if I can.
You know, I feel somehow as if I'm with the Martha Stewart of ice sculpting.
This is for all the women in the world. All the men can drive them by here and say, "Oh, here, honey, here's your."
And and I don't know. My dad always told me, beware of smiling women with sharp objects.
There's something to say for that also.
About that. Would you say there's something to that, sir?
Well, yes, and I've been around her for a while too, so I help when she needs me.
Yeah. So you agree with her creative process?
Oh yeah.
Indeed.
I kind of just do the things she needs done.
Yeah, it's a good thing you have the shady side of the street here, don't you think?
Yeah, right.
The sun is out there. It keeps you much cooler.
Oh yeah.
And
lovely weather.
And what will your friends back in very prestigious Brookfield say about your creation?
They're going to say, "Oh my gosh, she's at it."
She's at it again. All right. Well, wonderful talking with you all.
Thank you.
Good luck to you, and enjoy this beautiful day. We enjoy having you.
Well, great. It's wonderful to be here. We love your town. Thanks
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming. We're here with another great sculpture being done in beautiful Sturgeon Bay on this ice sculpting day. And we're with the very famous ice sculpting artist of...
My name or?
Yes.
Bill.
Bill, and where is Bill from, Bill?
I'm from Luxembourg.
Lovely Luxembourg. The town or the country?
The town.
The town, a little closer.
Yeah.
Good. And so are most of the people in Luxembourg, if they tune in Sturgeon Bay Sevastopol TV, will they'll say, yeah, Bill's at it again?
Maybe.
All right. Now in Luxembourg, have you done any ice sculpt in preparation for this, or are you just embarking on it here in Sturgeon Bay?
I've done it the past few years here.
Good man.
I work here.
Oh, great, at the Advocate.
Yep.
My daughter did it one time, a couple of years ago. Were you here a couple of years ago?
Yeah, depends when it was.
All right, that's all right. And so tell us about the piece you're making.
I am making a newspaper boy. The town caller is telling you to read all about it.
Yeah, I remember.
Come get it.
Yeah.
So
I was a newspaper boy, but a delivery boy, not a reporter such as yourself, I'm sure. Huh?
No, I do layout and design for the Door County magazine. So.
No wonder it's so well done.
Oh, thank you.
We appreciate it. Yes. And so, do you have an art background, Bill?
Yeah. I don't know. I've been drawing all my life.
When you were supposed to be doing your math homework?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it comes out. Mom and Dad, you see, he's admitting it now. All right. And do you do other medias of sculpt as well?
Actually, not really. I've dabbled in paint and do a lot of pen and ink.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of work on the computer now.
Yeah. Great. Super. Well, you're producing a beautiful piece. It's going to tie into the Advocate very well, and we'll want to read all about it until the temperatures get warmer.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks so much.
Style.
And we're back again with still other glacial artists here. And a beautiful creation for Sturgeon Bay Ice Sculpting Festival. We have two of the artists with us, and your names?
Lydia Dorr.
And Justin Vaught.
Hi, Justin. And where are you folks from?
Here in town.
Good, good. So you didn't have to bring your ice cube tray too far, is that it?
No.
All right. And is this your very first year of sculpting, or have you done
I've
it
done
before?
it 5 times, and I think I've done it twice.
This is my third year.
Time, yeah.
What a great adventure for you both. And what is the creation that you're doing?
It's going to be an Eskimo with a hole cut in it, and then you can look through it like a little picture thing.
How did you come up with that creative idea?
I saw it in a magazine.
Well, good. I mean,
we modified it a little bit.
Most of our thoughts come from other sources to begin with. What a nice creation. And I see a beautiful form at stake. It's going to be a very friendly, warm, sort of childlike, huggable sort of ice sculpt.
Yeah, little short guy.
Yeah, really, I like it. I like it a lot. And so you've been doing it for a while. Do you do other media as well?
No. But
stick to ice.
Yeah.
You have a long winter here.
Yeah, I do
stick to what you have. Yeah. Yes. Well, I think you're doing a beautiful job, and we wish you well. And
thank you.
Tell us about these really warm-looking have on here.
Oh, these are snow boots, but those are his snowboarding boots.
They do the job for you.
I just didn't have any other boots, so I had to go with what I had.
Well, you had good ones there.
Yeah.
And you're staying warm enough out here?
Definitely.
Good.
It's not bad today. It'd be nice if we were in the sun, though, but at least this will last longer than...
That's right, and more people to appreciate them. Well, it's so nice talking to you both, and best of luck to you.
Thanks.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye, have a good day.
You too, thanks. We don't have the sculptor to interview here, but just as well, perhaps, we have a beautiful creation of sort of one of the international symbols of labor, the flexed arm, although it is disconnected from the body, with the great steel worker's hammer. And perhaps this is apropos for Sturgeon Bay with the incredible welding and steel working workers and experts that are here in the shipbuilding industry. So a beautiful sculpt here, right here on the corner of Jefferson and 3rd. And we're at still another exciting sculpt. Dragons seem to be the one of the main themes with the fire and ice this year. And we have with us a man who's noted for his very interesting hats as well. And your name, sir?
My name is John Haas.
Hi, John. And where are you from, John?
I'm from Pewaukee, Wisconsin.
Lovely Pewaukee. I have a sister who lives there, and a wonderful family. It's a great community. Good to see a lot of Wisconsinites enhancing the beauty of Sturgeon Bay.
Absolutely. What a wonderful event, and this is absolutely a perfect day.
It is lovely. And how long have you been doing ice sculpting?
Oh, probably since 1988, so you do the math.
Yeah, it's
quite a few years.
20 years, my goodness.
Yeah.
So tell me, how at what point do you decide to use your torch?
Well, when I start getting down to the finer details, you don't want to impact the ice. Otherwise, you'll end up breaking off something, you know. And now I'll go back in with a finer tool, but I also want to start clearing up the ice. What this does is takes out the little chips and nicks and snow, clears it up, and then I can see what else needs to come off.
Oh, very good. Yeah. Well, look at just how it luminesces.
Yeah, it makes it look like a piece of crystal.
Yeah, it certainly does. Now, I've seen some pieces where all the very chisel marks give it interest and refraction, but what you're doing, the way the light hits it, smooths it, but it also brings it alive more.
They each have their own character. You're right. You know what? And those fine chisel marks that gives it a certain quality to it too.
Yeah, texture. So how did you decide to do a dragon?
Well, again, I struggled with the theme. You know, I thought I wanted to keep it with the fire and ice theme. And you know, I was thinking of maybe doing a torch or something, a fireplace. But I thought, you know what, a dragon is associated with fire, and so I said, well, let's try a dragon.
Well, it's certainly a beautiful piece, and we're glad you're here. And thank you much. Keep working. I'm going to enjoy viewing us as we walk around later.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
From the bottom. I did. I was successful with a bunch of shots last year, one of which. Ooh, yeah. Yes. And I'd just like to introduce you to another of my very new best friends, George.
Yes, George.
And George and the Dragon. Is that correct?
Actually, this is Mike's Dragon.
Mike's Dragon. Hi,
my hand's gone numb, so I enlisted George to do the last cutting.
I'm subbing.
You're subbing
I'm
for
subbing.
Now, what is your quest, Sir George?
Well, what we're trying to do is to make horns to put on the dragon's head right here, so that he'll be completed.
And will you use a torch to meld and weld the two crystalline substances together?
It's not. We call it welding, but you use water. And and it freezes the two of them together.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's cold enough for that, in case you haven't noticed.
And did you start out with a horizontal block or a vertical block, and we just kept?
It was vertical, and we laid it down.
All right, it's good.
Yep.
Well, I think it's really working, and it has nice movement to it, and it's sort of a Loch Nessus kind of feel to it, don't you think?
I think.
Were you inspired? Do you have sort of a Scottish background?
We're going to head to Loch Ness right after this.
But they have a water sculpting contest there, I understand. Is that correct?
Yeah,
well,
Mike,
really.
that's gonna work nice.
That's working.
You see
really
that?
is.
Yeah.
Very nice piece.
Okay.
And he's looking a little too. In a much more of a, he's looking in sort of a threatening fashion at your left leg, George.
No, he's got that saw, so I got to step back here.
Well, brother-in-laws, he's heard about you.
Actually, we get along pretty well. We get along
good.
Pretty well. We in fact, very well. We come up here to see him all the time.
That's good.
He and his wife.
Well, we folks up here do need visitors from now and again,
Well, he's good company. So
yeah, he's a good man.
Yes,
We've heard a lot about you, so keep up the good work.
Well, he's from Green Bay, At least he's local.
Yeah, that's it. All right, lovely town.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, man. Yes, sir. And we're ready here with another great ice sculpt, and we're with a fine lady who once knew Cinderella, I believe.
Absolutely. This is her glass slipper, a little bit bigger than what she's used to, but...
Yes, but they tell me her feet were a bit awkward for her size body anyway.
Is that what they say?
That's what they have already...
I'm still waiting for my fairy godmother.
Yeah, well, Prince Charming has come to you, I'm sure, or you've come to Prince Charming.
If you interviewed that guy on the ground with the dragon, married.
Prince Charming he is.
5 years.
Nice man indeed.
He's a great guy.
Yes, so tell me about did he go out and kill the animal that you're wearing around your neck presently?
Actually, are you a PETA person? No.
No, we're not at all.
My sister gave me this.
Meat.
Do you know that this is one of the warmest things that I own? And there's a reason that people wear fur.
That's right. That's absolutely.
And
there's a reason that the rabbit once wore it too. They've evolved staying warm. They hop around in all of this all the time.
I agree with you.
So what inspired you to make Cinderella's slipper?
Is a really interesting story.
I thought it would be.
I started doing a giraffe. And the giraffe was going to be twice as tall as the block, so 60 and 120 inches long, with a tall neck, and then my block fell over. So hence that is one end of the block and this is the other. So the block is here and I'm sitting on the ground thinking, oh my gosh, that will never be a giraffe. What could it be? And so I just thought perhaps a glass slipper would be nice.
I've heard the expression when you're given lemons, make lemonade.
There you go.
You weren't given a lemon, you're given a block of ice.
Yes, and it broke.
Okay. All right. It's a beautiful creation.
And Wilkins and Olander is my sponsor, and they sell shoes, and I thought, how perfect, what a perfect match.
Fine shoes, clothing, and accessories,
absolutely.
I might add, yes.
I've yet to go in and shop, but I'm going to.
I think after you're all done, yes. And so now, if Cinderella were to come along, and this were indeed her ice slipper.
Yes.
And how many dances do you think she'd have in the ball before it melted away?
Well, it depended on what time she started, because you know the story. At midnight.
Yes. Yes.
You know what happens.
It's a very nice creation.
Well, thank you.
And
you're kind.
I think it's a lot of fun for you. Are these your children?
No, these are little passersby who wanted to try their hand at seeing what sculpting is, and so I gave them a tool. They're called shavers.
Yes.
And they're really going to it. I really like what they're doing.
They're creating some nice texture.
Look at that's the word I was going to use.
Lovely texture, and they're certainly reducing that block effectively.
I think they're from Green Bay. They've come all the way up here to Sturgeon Bay to watch the sculpting.
I'm going to just step over
absolutely.
there.
Here you go.
Good. So you guys are the new generation of ice sculptors that are going to be coming to Sturgeon Bay with creating your own projects. And your first name?
Ellie.
Ellie, and your first name?
Jake.
Jake. And so Jake, what have you learned so far about sculpting ice, and how does it feel to you, Jake?
Cold.
Cold is a good description, but how does it feel sort of emotionally and cerebrally and mentally and all those lees? How does that feel to you, Jake? Yeah, I don't know is a typical answer, Jake. Now, I see that you're getting rid of that corner to make it a little different, to look different, feel different.
Yeah.
And what do you see in this ice right now, Jake?
A lot of different pieces.
A lot of different pieces. Do you see a particular shape or animal or theme evolving, Jake?
No.
A robot. That could be. It could be a robot. I see a lot of different possibilities. And when you go home, ask Mom and Dad what Michelangelo said when he was carving marble. Okay?
Okay.
And see if they remember.
Yep.
They may have grown up with them.
Yeah.
All right. Nice talking with you guys. Good luck.
Yeah.
I think in all of ice sculpting, there's always realization, and there is a term called potential. We're at a potential sculpt right now with a well-accomplished potential sculpture. And your name, sir?
Joey.
Joey the sculptor, and that's no kidding, right, Joey?
That's no kidding.
And so how long, Joey, have you been sculpting ice?
About 3 hours now.
3 hours, yeah. Well, you're going to move on to this new piece I see, and it's just a potential sculpt. And you're going to create something out of this, Joey. And what are you going to create?
A wine bottle.
Now, why would a person want to make a wine bottle out of a piece of ice?
I don't know. Like
could
wine?
Like wine, and could it be because your sponsor is the wine company at the end of the road?
Oh yeah, I moved down over there. I was just walking past you on you to talk about this.
That's right, for its potential.
It's full of potential. It's a very, very potentially looking ice block.
Yes. So will it be a red or white wine bottle, do you know?
White.
White wine. Weisswein, as the Germans have. Yes. And you know what Michelangelo said about when a block of marble. Yeah. When, you know what he said?
No.
I thought you did.
No, I don't.
But you agreed with me for a minute there.
I'm trying to sound smart.
Well, you are smart, Joey. You recognize me and you recognize this microphone, and we both recognized we needed to talk in it. Okay. So I guess we're smart. Anyway, Michelangelo said, how do you know how to create this great figure that you're carving out of marble with this chisel and mallet? And he said, well, the figure exists within the marble, and I just cut away what isn't the figure. That's what he says.
Yeah, that's what I did.
That's what you did.
Yeah.
And well, I think I wish you luck, Joey, and your wine bottle shall succeed, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Be well. Thank you. Yeah. And now we're with another great artist in many, many media. Mindy, how are you today, Mindy?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you. Can you tell us a bit about the sculpt you're creating and how you were inspired to create it?
Well, this is Bucky Badger.
Yes, of course.
And I was inspired because the Badgers are having such a fantastic year with their football team, and their basketball team is doing great. And also, my nephew is graduating this year from Madison.
What a wonderful event, and you're commemorating it, at least for now, till my warm hand touches this sculpt. And so, were you a graduate of Wisconsin as well?
I was not.
All right.
I figured it was a great year.
Yes, indeed. And your sponsors, Mindy?
DC Bikes and Latitude 45.
A wonderful shop and great service and good people. They're always real helpful to me. So when did you start, Mindy?
I started about 9:30 this morning.
And did you have someone model for you, or are you just doing it kind of extemporaneously?
No, I made some sketches, and I have a picture of the logo hanging up on the window.
Well, sure you do. There he is. And he's evolving quite nicely, and a friendly sort of guy for a badger, which I understand their actual temperament isn't that friendly.
Exactly right.
How do you know? How did Wisconsin get the badger as a mascot?
I have no idea.
Would you like to know the story, Mindy?
I would
Yes.
actually.
Well, actually, the original capital of Wisconsin was not Madison, and I'm trying to think of the name of the town, but it was in the southwestern part of the state, north of Galena. And there was a big mining district in the early part of our state in the 1820s, 1830s. There was a lot of lead mining going on in that area, and iron as well. And the people who stayed and dug holes all day in the ground were nicknamed badgers, and so it was one of our first major industries, as it were. So somehow that evolved out to Bucky Badger. Strange but true. And what is the prediction for the weather for the week, and how long do you think Bucky will be here commemorating this event?
I hope he stays up for at least a week. I heard that the temperatures are supposed to be in the upper 30s, actually. So it's going to be warmer than it has been, but not...
So as emotions go, would you feel your emotions are feeling more toward preservation of your artwork or getting back on the bike on the road?
Actually, that's a tough question.
Yeah, I know, but you're tough and I know you can answer it.
Probably,
yes.
I'm going to stick with preservation of Bucky, because I'd like him to last for at least a solid week.
Hold your own, my friend.
Yeah.
All right. Well, wonderful talking to you, and we'll be seeing you next year, I hope.
I hope so. I will be here.
Thank you, Mindy. Then at the door again, here at another beautiful ice sculpt in lovely Sturgeon Bay, and their festival of ice and frozenness and this beautiful, frigid, sunny, semi-sunny day. And we're out in front of Blue Ivy clothing shop, and I believe they're probably the sponsors, although the artist has since gone somewhere to warm up his hands and feet. But a lovely creation of a apparently somewhat realistic, beautiful dress gown on a hanger, and the hanger seems very solid and would support any dress made of a heavy block of ice that I can imagine. So another beautiful creation here in Sturgeon Bay. And Dennis Connolly again with
Jeff Olson.
Jeff, and I see by your jacket and I see by your hat, you're quite a famous, accomplished sculptor in the United States.
My team won the snow sculpting national championship in 2004.
Marvelous.
We've been competing there for 9 out of the last 11 years. So
terrific. So that's in another fine resort city in Wisconsin and Lake Geneva?
Yes.
And
yes.
Where are you and your team from?
I'm from Egg Harbor, and my other teammates are from Milwaukee area. I taught school for 35 years in the Milwaukee area and retired up here.
Good for you. We're all glad that you're here. So tell me a bit about ice sculpture versus snow sculpture.
Ice sculpting is a little more difficult. The reason that it's more difficult is the form is so narrow, and you're supposed to do a three-dimensional work of art. Doing a three-dimensional work of art in a 10-inch space is really hard. It's more like relief carving from both sides and trying to work something out to make it look 3D and in the round. So
well described.
It's real much harder.
Were you an art teacher?
Yes, I was. I taught art in the Oak Creek Franklin School District at the high school for 35 years.
Lucky for them. Tell me about the figure you're creating.
Well, this is the batter. I did over on the other side, I did the pitcher, and then the other chunk that's there is going to be a catcher.
Well, most of us catchers are sort of squat figures.
Well, that's what it's going to be, and there's a broken piece that I may do as a dog coming in. I don't know. I'll use as much of the ice as I can.
A great scene. So tell me about the placement of the duct tape on your instrument, your tool of carving.
That's so your hand doesn't slide when it gets wet and cold. It's slippery, and you go like that, and then it goes sliding.
Not good.
And when you've got a team and it goes sliding, it goes taking off.
Friends.
Somebody gets
somebody once was a friend. Yeah. My goodness. Well, you're doing a beautiful job.
Thank
and your sponsor is Stone Harbor?
I believe so. I don't know.
All right. I'm sure they'll let you go in and get warm and use the bathroom if needed. So
I was told these were the blocks I was supposed to carve. So
there you
that's
go.
where I carved.
Well, I'm glad you're doing such a good job, and thanks for bringing more beauty to Door County.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah, see there.
That's good, Kristen.
And here we have
Kristen Zanell.
Kristen Zanell, sometimes known as a shot putter, but in this case trying to duplicate the very action of this pitcher. And she has been known actually to be the model for the sculpture. It wasn't merely out of his head. She stood for hours and hours as he sculpted away on this ice.
You're full of it.
I've been told that before as well. And where are you from, Kristen?
Sturgeon Bay.
And why do you think they gave me this mic then, Kristen?
I don't know. It's not really on, I hope.
Nah, it isn't, Kristen. Don't worry about a thing. So enjoy the day, and I'm glad to see you here. We're here at Stone Harbor again, and we're seeing a beautiful piece of creation, a beautiful, would you describe it for me, please?
It's made out of ice, and it's...
good start, I see, thank you.
It's the mother and child and father and child.
Lovely.
Like this side is the mother
goodness.
and the baby. I haven't chiseled the detail.
Oh, you're creating a beautiful piece of work here.
Thank you.
And what is your name, please?
Antonell.
Antonell. And where are you from?
Sturgeon Bay.
Sturgeon Bay. And how long have you been doing sculpting?
Oh, about 15 years.
Marvelous. Really beautiful facial features.
Thank you.
Lovely flow.
Thank you.
It reminds me of kind of a Rodin in a way, the way it moves, the way it flows, huh?
Thank you.
And to take to make the ice so fluid, have you used the torch on it
Yes,
a bit?
After I get finished, I sculpt her with the chainsaw. My son's helped me make the big cuts and to keep my chainsaw going.
Well, this is truly one of the finest creations. I hope a lot of the people walking the avenue venture over here to see your good work.
And then I do the detail and glaze it.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing it with us.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Right now I'm feeling a very cold reception here in Sturgeon Bay. And normally coming to the Stone Harbor, all of us have experienced very warm receptions. The reason I'm feeling such a cold reception is a fine artist has created this Welcome to Stone Harbor, the Fire and Ice Festival here in Sturgeon Bay. It's a beautiful, I believe that's a Doric column, done with a very festive sign, very precisely done. It almost looks like fine crystal formed right in front of us, welcoming us to Stone Harbor. Right here on beautiful Sturgeon Bay, a lovely piece, and it's illuminated as well. So it'll be welcoming guests in its own frigid fashion for probably many days, if not weeks. Hi there, Ice Sculpt fans. We're over on what the locals call the west side of Sturgeon Bay, which geographically to me seems like the south side, but what do I know? In an area previously known as Sawyer, at one time a separate town from Sturgeon Bay. And we're standing in front of another beautiful ice sculpt. The sculptor has disappeared because he is wise. And we see a lovely sculpt which appears to be an eagle or a hawk, most likely an eagle based on the type of wing configuration and talons, picking a fish out of the water. Just as much of this community grew up harvesting the whitefish and earlier on the sturgeon from Sturgeon Bay. A lovely sculpt it is. Good reason. Your mother said that. We're in the previous town of Sawyer again with another great ice sculptress. And your name, ma'am?
Tracy Robinson.
Tracy. Tracy, how are you, Tracy?
Frozen lips.
Frozen lips sink ships or don't sink ships. And so tell me about your creation, Tracy.
My original idea was a Jack-in-the-Box.
Yes.
And everybody's kind of getting the idea of a gesture.
Yeah, well,
a joker.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, that's
finished.
what it was modeled after,
Yes.
the Jack-in-the-Box.
I finished and it didn't break.
It's a beautiful piece. A lot of detail.
Thank you.
A lot of good feeling to it. Undercuts. A lot of texture to it. It's You know, it's a very happy sculpt.
Oh, good,
I mean, we
good,
look at it and it immediately emotes that kind of emotion. It's very nice. And of course, there's the snowman over in the corner, the animated snowman. I don't trust his carrot nose. Do you, Tracy?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't really.
It might be warmer than mine right now.
Yeah, I'm sure. Now, so what time did you start?
I started between 9 and 10 a.m.
And what drew you to this creation, this Jack in the Box? What made you decide to do that?
I tried to think of something a little bit more difficult.
I guess you did, huh?
Yes. More difficult and more detailed. Better chance you have of placing. So.
That's good. That's good. And who was your sponsor?
Greystone Castle.
Greystone Castle's
Greg
been
Eagle.
here quite a while, hasn't it?
It has.
And probably served a lot of people in a happy way.
Oh, totally. It's a
Yes,
great place to meet
yes.
friends.
Very nice place. And so I wish you well with your
Thank
sculpt.
you.
It's a lovely addition, a good piece. And are you going to be back next year again?
I will. This is actually my 6th season.
Wow. How long has the ice sculpt competition been going on in Sturgeon Bay?
I don't really know. I know it's been 6 years, 7 years maybe.
Okay. So this could be the 6th or 7th annual?
Maybe.
Could be, yes.
Yeah, I seem to recall starting maybe shortly after it's kind of started.
And before then, it was sort of an outcropping of the ice fishermen on the bay, making the hole in an artistic way that they could. And what can we do with this plug was always the question.
Totally.
Yeah. So lovely job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Here we are on the west side of Sturgeon Bay again, letting all the heat, greater west side, letting all the heat out of this beautiful building that is now occupied by a beautiful wine proprietress and her tasting menu. Can you tell me a little bit about your business?
There's a lot of wine in it, and there's 800 labels, and beer, build your own 6-packs, and that's growing. So, yes. Wine that you don't see at the grocery store or anywhere else.
Well, that's great. And what made you decide that this business was going to be a fit for you?
I like wine.
That's a good reason. As long as you're not your best customer.
I am my best customer.
Well, then my father told me something about that. But tell me about these ice sculpts that were created out here. Were you the sponsor of this one?
I did sponsor it, and a girl by the name of Heather did that. That's a mushroom with a bee or a butterfly.
Ah, I see.
Not 100%
well,
sure.
It's a nice creation. It's got nice soft lines to it, and she probably worked very hard on it.
She did.
Huh?
Yep.
Well, we were delighted to see you and meet you, and thank you for welcoming us into your shop.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bless. Ice takes many forms, and it may look like a static sort of substance, but in this case it's very fluid. Matter of fact, it's flying, das Flügeleisen. And we see another beautiful creation of, I believe, a hawk or an eagle. And this soaring above this sidewalk and above the slush around it was reduced to create this fine eagle. And we don't know anything currently about the sculptor or sculptress. I'm assuming it was sponsored by the little shop of flooring over on the Greater West Side. It's another beautiful piece, really depicting some of the fine feelings of nature and art and combination of nature and art that we have here in Door County. Another sculpt without the sculptor still present. And we have a beautiful guitar, and I've heard of steel guitars, but this is an ice guitar. I'm sure it would create a very cold sort of melody. Beautiful body structure, lovely neck, and the strings are imaginary at this moment, but I think if we strum them, they would crack away. But another great creation here in the ice sculpting contest. And concluding our visit to the ice sculpturing contest, 07 variety here on the west side of Sturgeon Bay. We're in front of beautiful resort Bridgeport. Tonight they do have vacancies, and they might have vacancies for cats. We have a frozen feline in front of us, Can you say that 3 times? Frozen feline in front of us. A very nice job done. Very nice composure. Beautiful shape. The chisel marks are used to purvey some very fine texture and good feelings to this. And if a cat could talk, I just wonder what it would say to us. Perhaps it would say, this has been a fine day in Sturgeon Bay, a place that we all enjoy to live and visit. The cat might say he has 9 lives and the next 7 he'd like to live in Sturgeon Bay. And he might say, come on back next year because it's going to be, 08 will be even more intriguing and inviting. Thank you from Sturgeon Bay with my producer, Laddie Chapman, ace cameraman, and your friend, Den at the Door, Dennis Connolly. Good to see you this year. See you again.